Laura and David were best friends and lived in a small, peaceful town named Willow Creek. They were well known for their adventures, often solving little mysteries that popped up in their vicinity. One sunny day, they spotted a new mystery. Something was missing from the old museum. The precious diamond necklace that once belonged to the town's founder was gone. Laura and David stood gaping at the glass case that once held the necklace. "We've got a new adventure on our hands, Laura," David said, his eyes glittering with excitement. They began by interviewing the museum curator, Mr. Graham. He was baffled about the theft as the museum had high-tech security systems in place. "No one could have possibly got past them," he said. "Do you remember anything unusual, Mr. Graham?" asked Laura. "Anything at all?" The old man thought for a moment before mentioning a mysterious visitor the day before the theft. This visitor was a tall lady, who wore a red cloak and seemed particularly interested in the necklace. Mr. Graham found it strange as she didn't look like the regular museum visitors. Laura and David decided to find this mysterious lady. They asked around town if anyone had seen someone matching this description. Surprisingly, many people had noticed her. They learned that the lady had been seen near Mrs. Jenkins' bakery around the time the necklace was stolen. Armed with cupcakes and the new information, Laura and David headed back home. The next morning, they visited the bakery. Mrs. Jenkins remembered the lady. She had bought a dozen strawberry cupcakes, one of the bakery's specialties. Pondering over cupcakes and potential clues, David noticed pink crumbs on the floor, the same crumbs found at the museum. "It could be a coincidence, but let's follow it up," he said. Tracking the crumbs, they arrived at a small house not too far from the bakery. Laura felt a pang of familiarity. "Isn't this Miss Harper's old house?" David nodded, looking puzzled. Miss Harper was an elementary school teacher who moved away years ago. The house had been vacant since then, and the mysterious woman was apparently living in it now. As they approached, they noticed the same red cloak hanging on a coat rack by the door. With their hearts pounding, they decided to knock. A woman in her 50s opened the door. She was wearing glasses and had a warm smile. She invited them in and introduced herself as Miss Harper's sister, Alexandra. When they told her about the missing necklace and her potential involvement, she looked taken aback. Then, she quietly went into another room and came back with the missing necklace. Alexandra explained that she was fond of treasure hunting. She had heard about the necklace and wanted to see if she could outsmart the museum's security system. She admitted that she didn't mean to steal it, but wanted to point out the flaws in the security to Mr. Graham. She'd planned to return it anonymously after having her fun. Laura and David convinced her to return the necklace herself and explain the situation to Mr. Graham. Alexandra agreed, seeming relieved. They went to the museum together. Mr. Graham was shocked and relieved to see the stolen necklace. He thanked Laura and David for solving the mystery once again. Alexandra apologized for her actions and promised to help improve the museum's security system. Mr. Graham, grateful for her honesty, agreed to this proposal. Once again, the town of Willow Creek had its peace restored, all thanks to Laura and David. They returned home, satisfied and eager for their next adventure.